This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 672 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products Trouble-Free Paste. Greetings, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Elizabeth McMillan, the founder of EquestrianProfessional.com. EquestrianProfessional.com is the site for horse people by horse people to help horse people, providing affordable horse business education and marketing tools specifically for horse professionals. Today's tip is about investing in and leveraging your skills and your business. But first, let's hear from our sponsor, Kentucky Performance Products. Spooky, tense, edgy, unfocused. If these words describe your horse, a calming supplement could make training easier and riding more fun. Trouble-Free Paste from Kentucky Performance Products is scientifically formulated to support proper nervous system function and help your horse maintain a more confident, focused, and relaxed disposition. Trouble-Free contains a blend of ingredients that support your horse's normal nerve cell and muscle function and is available in a convenient 80cc oral dosing syringe containing two 40cc servings. Ask for Trouble-Free from Kentucky Performance Products at your local feed and supply store or go to www.kppusa.com. And now, on with today's tip. And I would love to welcome back to Horse Tip Daily Elizabeth McMillan, founder of EquestrianProfessional.com, and one of our favorite horse gals to stop by and get advice on how to run a truly professional horse business that is actually a business and not a hobby disguised as a business. Welcome back, Elizabeth.
Well, it's great to be back, Jennifer.
What kind of great advice have you got for us horse folks who are famously poor business people? What have you got for us today?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, if you think about it, people who run lawn mowing businesses and babysitting services, I think about the same percentage of them are poor business people too. I think it's the curse of the small business person to put the interest and skill set before the behind the scenes business part first.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to help us with today? Because we need it.
All right. Well, I've got a couple time management tips for horse professionals.
Wow.
And that is that I think that it's really good when it comes to investing in your horse business to realize that your time investment is every bit as important as your financial investment. So like financial investments, what I like to do is I like to have people think about doing the most high value activities and to identify those by looking at their return on investment. So really looking at it in a results kind of a way. So I have some tips that are some activities that I think typically deliver the highest return on investment for horse professionals. And the first one would be to invest time in you, which is basically just realize that your expertise is the most valuable business asset that you have. And it's really the foundation that your horse business is built on. And really, your level of expertise and ability to produce results is largely going to determine your pay scale, your career trajectory, and then ultimately the longevity of your business. And I think that, really what happens is you have to really think as a horse professional, are you getting paid for your hours that you're giving? Are you trading hours for dollars, or are you getting paid for your expertise? And the greater your expertise, that really changes your that really changes the way somebody views you and and your pay scale quite a bit. And then another tip that I have that kind of goes along with that is to really think about how you can leverage your expertise. And basically, what that is about is thinking about how you might be able to leverage your expertise to really fully capitalize on it. So maybe it would be things like learning how to leverage your expertise into your marketing so that you're providing increased value to your current customers And also realizing that an educated customer is typically going to place a higher value on your services. And this could be anything from getting your barn's latest success published in the local paper to posting how-to videos to on YouTube, or there's literally just hundreds of ways to use your expertise as a marketing tool. And then I think the other thing that you can think about with your expertise, especially the high-level riders, is that it can be really utilized to create and sell or endorse a myriad of other equestrian products and services. So when you think about it that way, that investment in your expertise and becoming really the best that you can be at your sport and your discipline, it really makes a difference in the long run to what happens in your career and your livelihood.
Oh gosh, yes. So a common conversation heard at the tack store. Are you going to the clinic next month with Harold the Olympian, who's going to be in town doing a clinic?
Right.
No, I'm not. I don't have time. I have stalls to clean. So is it a better investment of your time to clean stalls or add to your resume that you rode with Harold the Olympian?
I think you have to go to that clinic. I know that some of the people, seriously, but people do make that choice.
All the time. It's constant. Yeah.
But if you go to that clinic and then you think about how you can leverage that into your marketing, maybe one of your customers comes along with you and takes, videos or photos, or you put your arm around, get you a picture of you and that clinician together. Think about how you can leverage that into your marketing. The other thing that you should be thinking about is if a clinician comes to your barn and does a clinic, ask them for a testimonial back. Like you might have a top clinician that says, I really loved working with your customers, your horses are really well kept, blah, 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 whoever it might be, whichever clinician. So a lot of it is really realizing that, one, it's worth it so far as increasing your own knowledge and what you are able to then offer your customers and in your own riding and competing, but also that it has a lot of value in terms of marketing. Mm-hmm. You can't buy that kind of marketing. That's just, it's really right. Very, very powerful.
So, okay, I'll give another example. I'm trying to show up examples because we are, as horse farm business persons and riding instructors, we all have these conversations. Let me think about this one. Are you going to take the emergency preparedness course that they're offering next month? They're teaching how to rescue horses in emergencies, how to deal with disasters, and you get a certificate at the end. It's a weekend project. It costs $100. Sorry, don't have time to do that. Fences need mending, and my horse trailer has a flat tire. Again, is that something that the person who's saying no, he could leverage that into something very valuable for his business, could he not? Being able to get that certificate?
Right. I think that's something that certificate could go, in a tagline on every email. It could go on your website. You're not going to want to draw attention to it in a huge way because people can view that as a negative. It's almost like, the only thing I can come up with is that you offer crematory services for, I don't know. It's kind of a negative. It's not something people want to think about. But at the same time, it's going to give them a sense of security. Like if it says this facility is certified by XYZ or our team is certified in XYZ, yeah, I think that matters. And it's
it tells me I don't know that farm owner or that facility from Adam, and I see that and I go, well, they care enough to continue their education. They care enough to really be spot on and up to date on what's the latest techniques and what's the latest policies. That person is taking the time to continue their education versus somebody who graduated from a horse college 28 and a half years ago, hasn't done anything to continue their education. They might be perfectly competent and really great, but I don't know them, and I don't know that. So I'm going to look at that and go, well, that person right there is kind of up to date. They're still continuing their education. That might give them an edge to that new customer who doesn't know them yet.
Right. And also, I think you have to think about in both the examples that you talk about is the value of networking with other professionals and other people in your area, because it is really surprising. I think a lot of the time people sort of just stay on their farm and they don't get to know their sort of quote unquote competition, or what have you. And I think, or some of the other people in the area. And the thing is that really, we're really much, much stronger together than we are apart. And I think that when you go out there, and there's probably going to be some people you're not going to have a natural relationship with, but I think if you get out there in that horse community, I think it's really positive. We for sure, in Kentucky with KENA, the Kentucky Equine Networking Association, I think that group has done really a lot. I know you're familiar with that group, and both those situations, it gives you a chance to meet people in the industry you might not meet otherwise. At the clinic, you might meet some great people to sell horses to down the road. At the equine evacuator disaster preparedness, and it's funny you mentioned that because we're having a webinar on that on Monday night, a week or so from now, and I think it's a really, really important thing, because I think there are always things that you're going to learn from a speaker or that type of presentation where you think you may have dotted every I and crossed every T, but I can guarantee you most people are going to learn more than what they thought. You're going to be surprised by something you learn.
Frequently when these kinds of situations come up, I know many of the seminars that I attended when we were up in Lexington, because they're just around every doorstep. There's clinics and seminars and meetings all over the place in Lexington. The educational opportunities are just incredible up there. Frequently, I would walk in and go, wow, I didn't expect to learn anything on the topic.
Right.
And I walk out going, I didn't learn a whole bunch on the topic because I felt pretty comfortable, but I learned a whole bunch on some other related topic while I was there. And it's amazing how those things come up if you just open your mind a little bit. Okay, you're not going to ride in the clinic with Howard the Olympian, but by golly, what about the idea of taking you and 6 of your students and auditing it together, and if you're allowed to, videotape it together, and ta-da, you've got a really fantastic learning experience for you and your students who are going to tell everybody they know. So you've just made your students part of your marketing tool, because they're going to tell everybody that they got to go see Howard the Olympian. Right.
And it builds excitement. It shows them what that next level is. And one of the things that people probably get tired of me saying it, is that 60% of your marketing needs to be directed towards your current customers. And that is the very reason why. So if you are taking them to an event like that, that is, in a sense, marketing to them, because it's educating them about what that next level might be. And a lot of horse professionals wonder, how can I keep my customers motivated to take that next step, to buy that first horse, to that type of thing? That's how you do it. You let them get a glimpse of what that next step, or what that maybe fourth step ahead looks like. You have to show them stars to make them want to reach them.
Right. And in the retail business, which I've spent a lot of my life in, they always say that it costs 10 times more to get a new customer as it does to hold on to a current customer. So I love the way you put that. Market to your current customers, because that's the most cost effective, in that you don't have a whole lot of money to spend. Maybe you don't have a whole lot of time to spend. But by marketing to your current customers, you're going to keep more of them, but you're also going to be advancing your business model. You're going to be advancing your brand compared to going out there in the world and grabbing new customers. And that is huge. So don't underestimate the power of wowing your current customers. Don't just make them satisfied. Wow them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's great. I love that. That's great. Well, now I've got lots of notes, Elizabeth. And all that. So we're going to invest our time intelligently in our marketing, and we are going to leverage our current as well as future expertise in those marketing plans. And we are going to put a link to Elizabeth McMillan's website. Tell our listeners what your website address is.
It is www.EquestrianProfessional.com.
EquestrianProfessional.com. And even if you spell it wrong when you put it into Google, I'm sure it will come up because I always
sure
spell
does.
professional wrong. Because you thought of that, didn't you?
Well, it just seems like it always comes up, which is a good thing.
Well, thank you once again. There's lots of really large and confusing marketing terms in this conversation. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. What it boils down to is it's a business, and if you ever plan on sleeping in on a Sunday morning, people, get with it and pay attention to good business practices. And Elizabeth is chock and block full of them. And thanks for stopping by, and we're going to see you again soon.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Well, there you go. To listen to all of Elizabeth's tips, just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the experts drop-down menu on the left. You can also visit Elizabeth at EquestrianProfessional.com and check out the impressive array of sound as a dollar horse business information to be found there. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they make these podcasts possible. Today's podcast has been brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products Trouble-Free Paste. Ask for trouble-free paste at your local tack and feed supplier, or you can go to www.kppusa.com. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.